She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to weave out the lies so we can get to the facts. Former President Donald Trump repeatedly found himself on the back foot Tuesday night during his debate with Vice President Kamala Harris, as Republicans seethed over repeated fact checks of the GOP candidate and a noticeably lighter touch for the Democrats' own disputed statements. Harris arrived well prepared to rattle Trump by claiming that military leaders had told her that the Republican nominee and 45th president was a disgrace, that world leaders were laughing at him, and even asserting that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom after he was fired by 81 million people in 2020. Trump found himself having to answer not only Harris's repeated and pointed attacks on both his pride and policy, but also a pair of moderators who quibbled with some of his statements despite what his supporters viewed as a lack of even-handedness. And before we get into the debate clips, I want to switch things up a bit. Let's fast forward to end of the debate, and Trump will give you a little assessment in terms of what he had to deal with. This way you can see it for yourself and know what to look for as we delve into this well-planned hit job.
Did you have fun?
I had a good time. I think it was our best debate ever. I thought it was really good. We had 3 against 1, but I anticipated.
Let's talk about that. 3 against 1, and all of her radical positions they leave on the table.
Yeah. No, we had a lot of negative kind of stuff. Look, I saw on your show last night, they had 100% positive coverage on ABC, and I had 94% negative coverage.
93% negative.
Yeah, so you can just picture in your head the astounding amount of bias you're about to witness for Kamala Harris. She was literally getting her hand held throughout the entire debate. When Trump argued that crime in the U.S. is increasing because of migrants allowed into the country on Harris's watch, World News Tonight anchor David Muir interjected with his fake fact checks. Especially when Trump brought up the topic of illegals and the increasing worry of residents in Springfield, Ohio, dealing with the influx of Haitians allegedly eating cats and ducks. I mean, just take a look at this interaction.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people are on television saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris, I'll let you.
ABC News had a pre-planned statement ready to go in case Trump brought up animals being harmed in Ohio. This video is currently going viral on social media, proving ABC News to be liars and proving this debate to be biased and rigged in favor of Kamala Harris. So, yeah, the moderator is now entering the debate and fact-checking Donald Trump in real time. For the record, David Muir has a record of giving Kamala Harris 100% positive news coverage and 93% negative news coverage for Trump. Look into those cases yourself if you want. I'm starting to see police reports surfacing, along with citizen testaments that Haitians eating cats and ducks is literally happening, and I'd rather trust the people on the ground than the mainstream media. But moving on. Now, when confronted and asked for some reason this insensitive question, David Muir asked Trump if he wanted Ukraine to win this war. Now, Donald Trump had the correct answer, just waiting in his back pocket when he said, "I want the war to stop, and I want people to stop dying." Now, why they're so hellbent on pushing endless wars beyond me, but they sure do it now, don't they? The reality is Trump is a businessman, and when he was president, he handled business, because I can recall there being 0 wars. But so quickly we forget, am I right? Now they like to call him a liar, but I didn't detect not one lie in this statement here. Take a look.
We have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that she and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out.
Yeah, other than the economy, immigration is our biggest issue because it directly affects our economy. You cannot have a plan for the economy and a plan to ship millions of illegals into this country. It simply does not go together. Unless your plan is destruction. Then it's working perfectly, so I'm glad Trump continues to call this administration out on that front. Kamala gives the illusion that she has an economic plan here in this next clip, but she's kind of worse than Biden. And if you think Bidenomics is bad, wait until she implements Kamala-nomics.
Best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
It's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run.
Speaking of rehearsed talking points, Trump quickly called her out on an economic soundbite that was apparently fed to her. Trump saying Kamala's plan is like run, spot, run in a national debate is hilarious. Oh, and then get this, he hits Kamala Harris with her own signature line.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out.
Honestly, I thought Kamala did a good job. She was well-spoken, articulate, well-prepared. She lied a lot. And received no fact checks from her friends at ABC or Pushback because, as we're now finding out, the ABC moderator is Kamala's sorority sister. They were both in the same sorority, unreal. And now we know why it was a 3-on-1 match. And now, we also know how last night Kamala dodged the most important question facing Americans, such as, are we better off today than we were under Trump? She didn't answer it. And it's looking like undecided voters are about to decide according to Byron Donalds here.
Look, I think when you talk about who won or lost, that's not the key thing. It's where are undecided voters. Last night, Reuters actually had a focus group of about 10 undecided voters going into the debate last night. 6 of 10 left the debate saying they were going to vote for Donald Trump. Only 3 said they were going to vote for Kamala Harris. 1 was still left undecided. That is the true measure of who won and who lost. And the reason why I think undecided voters are going to lean towards Donald Trump is because Kamala Harris did not talk about the issues facing the American people. She spent her time trying to needle and get under the skin of Donald Trump. That might work well in a televised debate, but you can't needle Vladimir Putin. You can't needle Xi Jinping. You got to have serious leadership and serious policy, and she did not provide that last night.
The Kamala-Trump debate is now over, and the mainstream media is rushing to declare her the winner. But Americans aren't buying it. Kamala carried herself as a typical politician, sticking to rehearsed talking points and failing to address the core issues facing the country. Trump had the best lines in this debate, honestly. Joe Biden was catching blows, and he wasn't even the target. Just watch this and try not to laugh.
I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate, because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill.
Kamala couldn't even help herself here. Yeah, Joe is either on vacation or sleeping somewhere. We tend to forget he's technically the president still. At least on paper. CNN even hammered ABC News for its biased presidential debate moderation. ABC News constantly fact-checked Trump and let Kamala off the hook for lying and dodging questions. Even CNN sees the double standard. Wow. And so here's the conclusion. Top 5 lies that the ABC News moderators refused to fact-check or falsely fact-checked during the debate. 1. Mandatory firearm buybacks. Kamala Harris told Trump to stop lying about her wanting to confiscate firearms. Harris has previously stated multiple times that she wants to launch a mandatory buyback program. The ABC moderators said nothing. 2. Fine people. Hoax. Kamala Harris claimed Trump called neo-Nazis very fine people. This hoax was debunked by Snopes, but the ABC moderators let it slide. The ABC moderators said nothing. 3. Post-birth abortion. Trump claimed babies were killed outside the womb in failed abortions. Under Tim Walz, babies born alive in botched abortions are allowed to be left to die. 8 babies who survived abortions in Minnesota were abandoned and sadly perished under Walz. The ABC moderators simply said Trump was lying and moved on without adding context. 4. Defund the police. Kamala Harris laughed when Trump said she wanted to defund the police. During a previous interview, Harris said having more cops on the street is wrong. She also supported taking police officers out of schools. The ABC moderator said nothing. 5. Bloodbath hoax. Kamala Harris claimed Trump said there would be a bloodbath if he is not elected, insinuating that his supporters would start killing people. This is completely false. The comment was made during a rally where Trump said there would be a bloodbath for the American auto industry if he is not elected. The ABC moderators said nothing.
It's important to remember that we are voting for the leader of our country and not who we like the most or who we want in our wedding party, but who is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they would do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office. The economy was higher, inflation was lower, things were better overall. And now with Kamala's administration, things haven't been so fantastic. And she's saying she can fix the problems that her administration has caused, but I just don't know if I can afford to take that risk.
Were you leaning towards the former president coming into the night?
Probably.
And did you vote for him in 2016 or 2020?
I did.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, send us a comment, and let us know what you think about the facts here on Facts Only.